What it do, what it do, what it do, family and friends. Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting the like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click that link in the description, go to change.org and sign the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, I'd like to welcome you back to another late night news drop. Now, there's four stories I want to talk about. It's going to be quick, family. Don't worry. It seems like a lot, but it's really not. And then there's three stories I want to talk about, and then the last story, our top story, is the one that I really want to bring to the light. This just ended. This just ended. Okay. It just dropped today, a couple hours ago. So, family, let's get into it. I know you all heard about the situation with the black dude, the brother or whatever. I say that loosely, Tevin Osborne. And the fact that he was, unalived by his white girlfriend when she was so quote unquote cleaning her gun. And the crazy thing about this was, people kind of kept quiet for a while because, people needed to see, do some research on the guy. And a lot of people are happy that people have been staying quiet because of the fact that they did some digging into this dude's background. And this guy, he's one of those people who just loves him a snow bunny. And you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with you if you want to love a snow bunny. Yeah, well, I don't want to say ain't nothing wrong with you, but there's nothing wrong if you want to date a snow bunny. That's on you. I'm not going to patrol your bedroom. My problem is, and always has been, when people choose to date outside of their race and then they got to bash the black man or the black woman while being in the interracial relationship. Like, you can't just go and live your life. You have to throw it in the face of Black Americans. You have to throw it in the face of foundational Black Americans. And you sit here and you try to act as if you're on the better side of the fence. When the fact of the matter is, no, you're not. As a matter of fact, you're on the side of the fence to where if anything happens to you, it can and will be justified. Now, this young lady, she's actually going on trial for involuntary manslaughter. But when you look at the situation and the optics of it, he's lucky because it took a while for them to go and arrest the woman. See, when you're on that side of the fence and you're sitting here basically giving the middle finger to foundational Black Americans, what ends up happening is they see that. White supremacists see that. The person you're with sees that. So they know if anything happens to you, you have no protection. You've been outlawed. There was this movie clip, and I forget the name of the movie, but it was talking about, it was an all-white dinner party. And all these, this was like during the time of slavery or whatnot. Well, after slavery, excuse me. And the white guy was talking about how they want to grab the good Negro. And then they groom that good Negro. And once they groom him and have him speaking their talking points, then they know that he can't go back to the community because the community has thrown him away and looks at him like a traitor. So even if he wakes up to what white supremacists are doing to him, he won't have any kind of backup. And that's the situation here. So let's look at some of these tweets. This is one of his tweets, and he says he'll bang a dog before he'll bang a black chick. It got to be a white dog, though. Yeah, see, this was one of the ones where my eyebrow went up and I'm like, where's your people from? But from everything that we're seeing, his people are from here. They are descendants of freedmen that we know of, but it just doesn't sound right. Here's another one right here. Black folks need to do better, man. Here's another one. Every black family got that one cousin that loves white women. And he's at the bottom and says, and that's a fact. 100. Here's another one. White girls, black girls. And another one. My name is Telbo Ruckins. But when you see me, I'm white. Very interesting. So, people started calling dude out for his tweets or whatever. And while they were calling him out on his tweets and things like that, talk about, get the white girls to and I totally agree. If you want to, celebrate these women, if you want to put them on a pedestal, why aren't, they out here stopping for you? Why aren't, your family members going to them and asking them to, stop for you? And so this sister here by the name of Dominique Speaks on it. She had a few things to say about that. But actually, before we get there, she is actually responding to the dude's family who came back. He didn't come back apologizing, saying, my cousin was wrong for his tweets, but we really need your help. This, that, the third. He ain't do none of that. He didn't come hat in hand, anything. You know what he did, family? Do you know what he did? He doubled down. So this young lady is addressing the double down.
Now, on one end, I'm thinking about them, the mentality of him. So I'm thinking about the mentality of them. So they may feel like it is weak to concede, to acknowledge that the things that he was saying was inappropriate, it was wrong. And instead of them apologizing to the community, right, apologizing to Black women and just saying, hey, his views don't reflect that of the family. He's lost his life. I want to send my condolences or my apologies, right, for the things that he said. But we really need you guys right now to get justice for him. Do it for me. I'm a Black woman. I'm his mother. I'm his sister. Instead of doing that, this is what they're doing. And again, maybe because they don't want to seem weak. And again, this wouldn't make them weak, but I'm just thinking of somebody with a mentality like them. They want to double down by trying to prove like, we don't care what y'all saying. We don't care. Yeah, he said, ooh. Not understanding that makes you guys look even worse. You're adding more fuel to the fire. So one of his family members took to their social media page and said, this is why I've been staying off of here. Y'all, sorry, summer bleep. Got so much to say. Damn right, my brother ain't want no begging ass Black bleep. Just like y'all bleep. Barely want the broke ass bleep you laying next to. In addition to that, his brother or another family member took to his social media page and made this video.
I say it again. Damn right, my cousin said he a white dog before he one of you Black miserable. That was terrible. Had your duckers in a row, he probably would with you. Ain't nobody time you drumify. Look, this is exactly what he was talking about. This better yet, y'all showed the prime example why he said he'll do what he do.
Kelvin Osborne's family coming online.
Sorry, family, I was muted. Yeah, man. So, yeah, we're at the point in time right now. We're at the point in time where, no, Get somebody else to do it. For all the divestors and everything else, if it comes out that you've been out here disrespecting foundational Black Americans and something happens to you for whatever reason, don't look back over here. And some people say, well, we should have empathy. We should have some sympathy. Not with his family running around doing that. That was their time to shine. That was their time to say, you know what? Let us apologize for our brother. Let us apologize for our family member who was speaking greasy about you, who you didn't deserve that, and he should have known better. However, we really need your help. No. He doubled down. So if you jump the fence, stay over there. I'm releasing the hounds. I'm pulling out the dogs. So that's the first story, family. And before we get to the next story, let me take the time to say what's up to the people in the chat. Salute to my brother, Big Black God, and salute to our sister, Lemonade. B1, salute to you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for everybody who's going to be, who's watching live and who will be watching in the replay gang. Shout out to you. Now, let's move on to the next story here, which is your boy Trump didn't put a freeze on all Ukraine aid. Yeah, I mean, I guess, Zelensky going up in there really, pissed Trump off. And then going on national TV saying that he don't need to apologize must have pissed him off even more. But let's get into this news story, family.
We have some breaking news. CBS News has confirmed the Trump administration is pausing all military aid to Ukraine. Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson joins us now. Eleanor, what do we know?
Yeah, the White House, a White House official confirmed to CBS that the president is pausing and reviewing all aid to Ukraine to ensure that it is contributing to a solution. Now, this comes after the skirmish, for lack of a better word, in the Oval Office on Friday between President Trump and President Zelensky. Now, the Trump administration had not promised any new military aid to Ukraine, but what it had not stopped was what was in the pipeline committed by the Biden administration. The Biden administration, as we know, had committed about $66 billion worth of equipment from current Defense Department stocks and in contracts for defense industry to make weapons for Ukraine. This pause now stops all of that. There have been shipments to Ukraine since the Trump administration came to office because not everything that Biden's administration committed can make it over there quickly. Like vehicles sometimes may take months to get over to Ukraine. What the Trump administration had been doing was just letting that go to Ukraine without committing anything more. Now it appears that the Trump administration has stopped all aid from flowing to Ukraine.
As you saw this news coming in, what significance did it bring up for you?
This is a clear message to Ukraine that the Trump administration is moving the line just a little bit more to try and get Ukraine to the negotiating table to get Ukraine to agree with some of what President Trump is saying for peace. The passive flow of aid had not been touched. We're more than a month into the Trump administration, and for all the criticism President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance gave the Biden administration during the campaign, they had not touched what was flowing already to Ukraine when they got into office. Now that has changed and remains to be seen how quickly that will affect the Ukrainians on the battlefield.
Okay, Eleanor Watson, thank you.
I tell you, Trump is he must be fuming. He said, you know what? I'm just going to cut off the funding. I'm going to cut it off. Before we continue, salute and shout out to our brother Jesse Paris. Shalom to you, my good brother. And a B1 certified salute to our brother Black Truth United. Shout out and shalom to you too, my family. Yeah, man, Trump must be pissed off to cut all funding, all military aid. Oh, yeah, I think, Zelensky should have just apologized, to be honest with you. But that's what you do. You got to play the game if you want to get other people's money. Y'all remember that song, OPP? Yeah, you know me. If they don't know you, if you act like they don't know you, how can you get the OPP? Other people's property. I need your funds. So I'm going to dress up or act whatever way I need to dress up or act if I'm going to do business with you. And then tomorrow's drop, I'll be addressing all the so-called I stand with Ukraine people. And I'm going to be showing some of these videos because even Ukraine out here pushing propaganda straight through TikTok. Straight through TikTok. But family, we'll get to that tomorrow. Let's continue this. So please let me know what y'all think about this cutting the funds to Ukraine. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think it's a bad thing? Well, for FBAs, we already know we don't give a we would rather you cut the funding to some other places too. I'm gonna need all foreign funding to be cut. I'm just going to be 100% honest with you. Until reparations is paid to foundational Black Americans, we shouldn't be giving anybody else money. For us, that's like a person owing you $100, and every time you see him, he over here purchasing something new. He got a brand new car, he got a brand new TV, and you like, hey, my dude. You do remember you owe me $100, don't you? And then the dude get upset, be like, oh man, you whining over that little bit of change, just a little bit of change, but I need my money. It's my money and I need it now. So until reparations is paid, I don't think any foreign aid should be going out whatsoever. I don't care how people feel about it. Let these countries fend for themselves. Because if I can't get paid, I'll be damned if I agree to allow other people to get paid that has nothing to do with this country. Let's move on to the next story, family. Salute to Jesse. He said, I remember the naughty by nature all day, family, all day. You want to be down with OPP, you got to know me. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know me, you think what I'm saying? You ain't getting nothing from me. Period. Period, point in black. But in the next story here, family, we got Governor Kim Reynolds of Iowa signing a bill removing gender identity. And I think that this is a wonderful thing. I hope more people start following suit. And if I'm correct, she also within the bill, I think she solidified men and women, basically, the two genders. So she kind of followed Trump's lead on that. But let's get to the story, family.
A week full of passionate protests and emotional pleas at the Iowa State House.
Please don't take my rights away. simply because you disagree with who I am.
A biological male cannot become a female, and that a biological female cannot become a male.
Ends with Iowa becoming the first state in the country to remove a protected class from its Civil Rights Act.
Those voting aye 60, those voting no 35, absent not voting 5. Those received a constitutional majority declared to pass the House.
Today on KCCI 8 News Close Up, we're hearing from both sides.
What will be remembered 100 years from now is this vote.
It is far past time these anti-trans bills be placed into the dustbin of history.
Common sense policies are at risk so long as gender identity remains in the Iowa Civil Rights Code.
And what this means for Iowans with the new law now in place.
This is Iowa's news leader. This is KCCI 8 News Close Up.
Good morning, and thanks for joining us for KCCI 8 News Close Up. I'm Chief Political Reporter Amanda Rooker. A controversial bill removing gender identity from Iowa's Civil Rights Code fast-tracked through the State House last week. It is now officially law. Governor Kim Reynolds has signed this. Now, protesters packed the State House rotunda as lawmakers debated the bill last Thursday. They held signs, chanted things like trans rights are human rights.
My bad, mic was muted. In case you guys are wondering, this bill actually passed the state Senate 33-15, and then it flew through the House. it got 60-35 votes. Just to put a little context in there, family.
The bill was signed after Republicans first introduced the legislation a week before it was passed. The legislation removes gender identity as a protected class from the state's civil rights law. It also creates new definitions for female and male. And it states that gender is now a synonym for sex, not a synonym for gender identity.
I know they hate the hell out of that one right there. Shout out to our brother Black Truth United for your Cash App. Yo donation is blessed tenfold. Blessings to you. I'm sorry. I'm just so tickled by it because, just the way they were just in there. Please don't take my rights because you don't agree with it. Ain't nothing been taken. They just solidify what was and what is. I am so amused by that, but let's let them continue.
I'm joined now by Mark Kendi with Drake University. He is the director of the school's Constitutional Law Center. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
I think a lot of people have questions on the legal implications of this. We know Iowa's Civil Rights Code provides a wide range of protections in areas like housing, education, credit, employment. So now that gender identity is no longer a protected class, what happens if someone faces discrimination in those areas based on their gender identity?
Fundamentally, they have no remedy, which is stunning because we think of denial of those kinds of things to people based on their status as being troubling. But fundamentally, it removes a method of getting a remedy that often goes through an administrative process and puts them alone in a category of basically you're a second-class citizen.
Gotta remember this, Mike. They're trying to make this comparable to what Black Americans went through and what we still go through today as second-class citizens, even though we built this country. So now every time something happens to them that they don't agree with, you hear these people out here talking about second-class citizens. With the whole deportation thing, people were saying second-class citizens, and these people weren't even citizens. Latinos, we've been treated like second-class citizens for a while now. Dude, no. And shout out to our brother Black Truth United for reminding me. We gotta do this. We gotta make sure YouTube stays off our bumper.
Warning. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Also, my brother, you get the cash drop for the Cash App. You dig?
I gotta do it, man.
Dude. What are you doing? Huel. Hey, quit screwing around. We are here to do a job, not channel Scrooge McDuck. You hearing me?
I hear you.
Dude. Ah, screw it.
Let's get back to it.
And there's a Supreme Court case that actually deals with this. Back in 1996, Colorado, state of Colorado removed any civil rights protections for gay people, and only gay people. So gay people were singled out, and the US Supreme Court, which was not particularly liberal, very much ruled that you can't do that. You can't target one group once they're protected, pull them out of the other protected groups, and then essentially treat them as inferior. And they pretty much said that's the definition of illegality. You can't get worse than that.
Family, how much you want to bet under this court of Trump? You ain't gonna be able to argue that. I'm just gonna be 100. I don't think that you're gonna be able to really argue that whatsoever under this court that we have under Trump. You probably won't be able to argue that for, I don't know, maybe about 15 years. Because if that gets to the Supreme Court, y'all know what they're going to do. They're literally going to drop that and say, you know what? Negative. No. Every state has a right to do whatever, such and such. That's just my whole thought process on it. Shout out to our brother Black True. He says, I wish they would reclassify some of this as stuff as mental illness, and I'm with you 100-fold. Well, I know that homosexuality was at one point mentioned as an illness. Not just that, I think it was transism as well was mental was mentioned as an illness as well. So salute to Jesse Paris. He said, of course my state would do this. Gender dysphoria. Exactly, family. That's exactly what it was called. That's exactly what it was called. Exactly what it is called, matter of fact. Let's keep that on there. And let's continue this because there's not much more from this I want to pull. I just want to get there's a part in here I want you guys to hear.
So that's one potential, repercussion is that there could be litigation.
I was just going to ask you that. Do you foresee that there will be maybe litigation then following that precedent?
Yeah, and not just litigation, but there's precedent that, while it's not exactly the same, it's close, but in the interim, I think there are going to be situations that arise where people who are transgender are going to be discriminated against and have no remedy. And I think as Iowans, we'd like to think of ourselves as fair and nice. That doesn't sound fair and nice to me.
Well, I will say that the supporters of this bill several times pointed to the 28 other states that don't have gender identity in their code. Now, those are not states that had gender identity and pulled it away. They never added it in the first place. But they say in those states, transgender individuals have a remedy if they face discrimination based on federal protections. What's your response to that? Are there federal remedies to discrimination? Because there are states that just solely rely on federal law.
In the employment area, there's a case called Bostock. And in that case, the Supreme Court seemed to say that discrimination in employment was something that would be potentially not allowed against people who are, transgender. And that was a major ruling. However, among all of the executive orders and documents that the Trump administration has issued seem to be directives indicating that at a minimum, they're not going to enforce this. And, you know, maybe that allows some individuals who are treated poorly to, as an individual, bring something forward. But, you know, basically, the bottom line is, yes, there are some limited protections. And yes, even the Biden administration issued an executive order. I think a lot of that is sort of by the wayside with the.
All right, family. So I wanted you to hear that because I wanted to let people know. And this is a very, very tough thing when it comes to discrimination in the workforce. You have to now prove that they were discriminating against you. You have to now prove that it was because you were trans that this happened. It's because you were black that this happened. Now, with Black Americans, we can prove certain things due to practices and things like that. But with, you know, that community, it's going to be extremely tough for you to even prove that it was because you were, you know, a transformer. It was because you were LGBTQ. Especially with the DEI situation, because there's not many examples or patterns with a lot of companies because of the DEI situation. And salute to our brother Big Black God for your Cash App. Your donation is blessed tenfold. Blessings to you, my family.
I gotta do it, man.
Dude. What are you doing? Huel. Hey, quit screwing around. We are here to do a job, not channel Scrooge McDuck. You hearing me?
I hear you.
Dude. Ah, screw it.
Shout out to you, family. I appreciate you. Yeah, but that's a very tough thing to prove in the workforce. Hey, much love to you, family. No worries on that, man. We got PayPal as well, or if you so choose, you can join the membership. And I appreciate you regardless of whether you do any of that or not. Let's just be clear there. I appreciate you for being here, family. But yeah, this is going to be extremely hard to prove. Period, point in black. That's just what it is. Now, I want to get to our final story, because this story here had me pissed the hell off. Because as a person who grew up in California, as a person who's been through the juvenile system, who's been through the jail system in itself, beat every case, but still, I've been there. I got held there. I'm very, very much so pissed off by the fuckery, in the words of our good sister. And I apologize for people who don't like to hear curse words, but in the words of our good sister Miss Niecy Scales, the fuckery that takes place in these businesses, because they are businesses at the end of the day. So let's get into this last article here, family. 30 Los Angeles probation officers charged over gladiator fights in Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall. Let's get into this article, family.
And the 30 officers who are now facing charges.
Our Mark Cota-Robles joins us live from the newsroom with the details. Mark.
Yeah, Giovanna and Mark, these really are some wild charges. Those 30 detention officers at Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall in Downey have been charged with child endangerment and abuse, conspiracy, and battery. The indictment alleges the officers allowed and in some cases encouraged these fights to occur, all involving youth inmates. How many exactly? Allegedly 69 of these gladiator-style fights between July and December of 2023, impacting 143 victims. Those youth inmates ranging in age from 12 to 18. According to Attorney General Rob Bonta's office, the Department of Justice got involved after video footage of an actual fight leaked just over a year ago. Bonta spoke just about an hour ago and described this as a deeply disturbing case.
Some officers are even seen laughing and shaking hands with the young people involved. Watching the video, the officers look more like referees or audience members at a prize fight, not adults charged with the care and supervision of young people.
This statement just in within the hour from LA County Probation Department applauding the Attorney General, saying in part, our department has fully collaborated with law enforcement authorities throughout this investigation and have been conducting our own internal inquiries. The current staff named in today's indictments have all been placed on leave without pay. We should mention that 22 of the officers were arraigned today in LA Superior Court. The remaining officers will be arraigned next month. Live in the newsroom, Mark Cotter-Robles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC 7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel and download the
family. These people are evil as hell. These people are evil as hell. And they didn't give you the amount of victims. They gave you the amount of fights. They said it was over 69 fights. But when you actually read the article from the same people who put this damn broadcast out, it was 69 fights. But I'm going to read directly from the article when saying this. If you like to see, hold on. That's the article right there, family. And I'm not going to read this whole article because the video basically says it all. The only thing that's really missing from this article is the fact that it was more than 140 victims between the age of 12 and 18 years old. It was more than 140 victims within 69 fights. So they wasn't just putting on gladiator shows. They was putting on battle royales. They was putting on Royal Rumbles. What does AEW call their shit? They were putting on the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. Without the dynamite, without the diamond ring, it was just battle royal. This is the nonsense that I'm speaking about, family. And shout out to the ears that hear the truth. I appreciate your Cash App as well. Be one to your sister, your gift, and your donation is blessed tenfold and bless you as well, family. Let me hit you with this.
I gotta do it, man.
Dude. What are you doing? Huel. Hey, quit screwing around. We are here to do a job, not channel Scrooge McDuck. You hearing me?
I hear you.
Dude. Screw it.
I appreciate you, family, and blessings to you. Now, I want to play this one more time. And I want you guys to listen to it close and see if they even bring up the fact that was more than 140 people. I know we just heard it, and I know you didn't. But for those who just now joined, we're going to make sure you know that, God dang it, this was happening to more than 100. It says more than 140 victims. Matter of fact, I'm going to highlight this and show this to you, family. More than 140 victims between the ages of 12 and 18 were involved in 69 fights. So the word more is very telling. They're not giving you an actual number, family. They're not telling you how many people participated in these fights, because it's most likely probably over 200. It's most likely probably over 300. And that's the facts, family. That's the facts. Whenever they don't give you an exact number, they just say more than. That means it's a substantial amount more than what the hell they telling you. But let's run that back one more time, just in case people missed it.
Streaming app on Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV, and Roku to watch on your TV. Get right to that breaking news and the 30 officers who are now facing charges.
Our Mark Cota-Robles joins us live from the newsroom with the details. Mark.
Yeah, Giovanna and Mark, these really are some wild charges. Those 30 detention officers at Los Padrinos Juvenile Hall in Downey have been charged with child endangerment and abuse, conspiracy, and battery. The indictment alleges the officers allowed and in some cases encouraged these fights to occur, all involving youth inmates. How many exactly? Allegedly 69 of these gladiator-style fights between July and December of 2023, impacting 143 victims. Those youth inmates ranging in age from 12 to 18. According to Attorney General Rob Bonta's office, the Department of Justice got involved.
All right, so I owe them an apology. They said impacted 143 victims. Okay, all right, they gave the number, but they didn't give the ages. Within 69 fights. That means a 12-year-old was in there and could have been in there fighting a 17-year-old. That means a 15-year-old was getting the brakes beat off of him by an 18-year-old. Someone who's actually legal at that point. Who's actually legal at that point.
After video footage of an actual fight leaked just over a year ago. Bonta spoke just about an hour ago and described this as a deeply disturbing case.
Some officers are even seen laughing and shaking hands with the young people involved. Watching the video, the officers look more like referees or audience members at a prize fight, not adults charged with the care and supervision of young people.
This statement just in within the hour from LA County Probation Department applauding the Attorney General, saying in part, our department has fully collaborated with law enforcement authorities throughout this investigation and have been conducting our own internal inquiries. The current staff named in today's indictments have all been placed on leave without pay. We should mention that 22 of the officers were arraigned today in LA Superior Court. The remaining officers will be arraigned next month. Live in the newsroom, Mark Cota-Robles, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hello, I'm Mark Brown. Get more great ABC 7 content by clicking the subscribe button for our YouTube channel.
Yes, family. Yeah, I just don't. Even after watching it again, it really just pisses me off. And shout out to our brother, Black Truth United, because you're absolutely right. We need to keep a watch on this story because we need to make sure people go down for this. Because I can guarantee you, this happened in Downey, California. I used to work in Downey. I used to be, when I used to work at the Puma factory. I used to work at the Puma warehouse. And I can tell you by experience, Downey is majority Black and Latino. So guess who you think they had fighting each other? Guess who they most likely had fighting each other in these battle royals? The same way when you go to a county jail, they lump you up. You either go to the blacks, or if they call you other, they send you with the blacks anyway. You go with the napkins, you go with the Mexicans, or you go with the Paisas. And the Paisas and the Mexicans, for some reason, they have two totally different groups. I don't know why, but they have two totally different groups. So when I say I'm pretty sure, I am damn sure that they was putting us against them in these battle royals, I guarantee you that's what's happening. So yeah, I would love to see people do hard time for this. And it's never the biggest, toughest guys either. Don't get it confused thinking they just grabbing all the tough gangbangers and putting them against each other. No. Anybody that they don't like, anybody that they feel like, it could be the weakest person in the room. And if they feel like, oh, that person got to learn his place, they will grab you. Just know, white supremacy, they prey on the weak. And this is literally something out of white supremacy's playbook. If you remember, the goddamn slave owners used to get slaves drunk and had them fight in the boxing ring. That's where boxing came from. If you didn't know that, now you know. Salute again to our brother, Big Black God, for your Cash App contribution. Your donation is blessed tenfold. Bless you. And you get there.
I gotta do it, man.
Dude. What are you doing? Huel. Hey, quit screwing around. We are here to do a job, not channel Scrooge McDuck. You hearing me?
I hear you.
Dude. Ah, screw it.
Family, I appreciate you being here tonight for the news drop, late night news drop. And with this last story, I guarantee you I'm going to keep my eye on this one because this one is very close to home. Very, very close to home. That's why a lot of the times I do content on California reparations, because that's where I'm from. And a lot of the things that happen in California, and it's because, you know, I'm close to home. That's my home. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say that's my home. America's my home, but still that's where I'm from. Right. And I still have family out there. So I want to see California do good. I want to see California do great. So if you're ever wondering why I do a lot of California content, that's why. I also do Houston content because I'm in Houston as of now. I also do content from just for America because that's our home as well. You dig what I'm saying? But we're not going to get out of here on this downer note. No. I'm going to start making sure before we get up out of here on every late night, news drop. I want to make sure that everybody leave with a smile, or at least laughing, or at least, the mood has been lightened a lot because there was a lot of heavy stuff that's been dropped here. Well, not too much, but the situation with the jail here, the juvenile hall, that's definitely a heavy situation. I don't want to leave that on anybody's emotional palate. So I want to give you something to make you smile or make you cringe. Either way, you're going to get this drop. So with that being said, family, I saw this and I didn't know whether to laugh, to be mad, or, you know, to cuss the person. I didn't know. I just didn't know what to do. So since I had to see it, you have to see it too.
Billie Jean, not my love. Oh, she's just some girl who can that I am the one. But the girl is not my son. She said I am the one. But the girl is not my son. Billie Jean's not my love. Oh, Billie Jean's.
If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please hit that link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature in the petition for reparations. Family, my thoughts exactly. That was the thing that really just told me up. It told me to shreds. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if it was real. I thought I was in a simulation. I'm gonna be honest with you. That right there, I was like, this can't be life. I must really be in a simulation. You dig what I'm saying? And speaking of that simulation stuff, you dig me? We're going to do a broadcast on that pretty soon too, talking about whether we're in a simulation or is it just another tactic of escapism. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it's the latter. I believe it's a tactic of escapism given to us by the government so that we won't be looking in areas or other areas where we can actually do something good or change things. See, I had this conversation with someone the other day where they were saying that, you know, well, if you live in a simulation, that means that you can play the game. You know that you have you can play the game and you play the game to win, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, no, I had to sweet talk. I said, no, baby, I love you. I love you. This wasn't even my girl. That's how I had to come at it. I was like, nah, baby, I love you. I love you. But no, just no. Because if you're in a simulation, that means that you're moving off the whole. If you're in a simulation playing the game, right, that means that you have to play the game according to the way that the programmer has written the game. So you're not doing anything special by saying, well, I can manifest this or that, you know, by playing the game. No. When you believe you're in a simulation, that means somebody had to program that simulation. You feel what I'm saying, family? And if somebody had to program that simulation and it wasn't you feel what I'm saying? Then who do you think it was? And if you're playing the game according to the simulation and the program was, you know, programmed by someone else, the simulation in itself, then tell me, what are you changing? No, all you're doing is playing along the lines of the simulation. So we're going to go deep into that, family, on another broadcast. But I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Like I said, I hope you all enjoyed, you know what I'm saying, the last drop there. I might just drop it one more time before we get up out of here. You know what? Let's do it one more time. Let's just do it.
Billie Jean, not my love. Oh, she's just some girl who can that I am the one. But the girl is not my son. She said I am the one. But the girl is not my son. Billie Jean's not my love. Oh, Billie Jean's.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down.